As part of our Remembering Saltergate series, we now hear from John Croot, who talks about various items of memorabilia from Saltergate that have been preserved. He starts by telling us how he obtained the referee's whistle and shirt from the final match at the old ground.
Well, obviously I was watching the match like thousands of others, and what a finish. And, you know, we scored, the wheelchair went on the pitch, there was pandemonium. I heard the whistle go shortly after, and I thought that would be a great souvenir to get the whistle that blew time on football after 144 years. So I went into the referee's room after and asked him if I could buy it off him, and he says, well, no, you can have it. So he gave it me, and also he says, here you are, and he wrote on the shirt the date, signed it, and says, and there's a shirt there. So I said, that's great, I'll save that for the community trust, and that's what I've done, and sort of kept it 10 years, and it's probably come actually about time now that we got it framed and put up probably in the hub. That's the story behind it.
Yeah, truly unique items, and they're the sort of things that can get lost, you know, if people don't bother to think that they're worth keeping for future generations to look at.
Yeah, and I think that's really important that I think it's sort of widely known that the history of the club is something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that, you know, I'd grown up watching my football at Saltergate, and it was a big memorable day for me, and that was something I wanted to make sure that we'd got for years to come, for generations to see.
And no doubt you've been reading the different Remembering Saltergate pieces that we've been putting out over the week.
Yeah, I have. It's there's been some great memories going on there. It certainly gets you sort of thinking about the years at Saltergate, the different matches, things that have happened. And also Saltergate itself, you know, people from away clubs sort of used to turn their nose up at it, but to us, of course, we loved it and still do, really. As good as the Pro Act is, it's still sadly missed.
What are your overriding memories of the place?
My overriding memories of the place, starting from going at school, really. I mean, I went to St Mary's across the road. I used to call in after school, so I remember that, going into the club shop. I used to take the ball back when it got kicked over when I was at school at St Mary's. That was my job, so I remember that. And then the late 70s, and being a programme seller, of course, my position was bottom of the centre stand steps on St Margaret's Drive. I was there for I don't know how many years selling my programmes, and I watched through the late 70s. Really, Arthur Cox's team was the first team that I can remember in detail. I remember the early 70s and my first ever match at Saltergate. But then, of course, other games, such as like obviously the cup run, the win against Wrexham, which was enormous. I remember selling programmes on the night when we beat Glasgow Rangers 3-0, and the Rangers fans all coming up to us afterwards. Good, well behaved as well. People didn't really expect that, but they were. I always used to try and make time to speak to away fans as well, which was good. And then, of course, over the years, the sort of boardroom and how many posing directors, as I sort of grew a bit older, mentioned the old coal fire in the boardroom and the big boardroom table, which actually is, I made sure that that was, Alan Stevenson tried to sell it in his end of season auction and couldn't, and it was due to be chopped up, and it had been there since about 1933, I think, or when the stand was 36, was it, when the stand was built. So I wanted to make sure it was saved, but I didn't know anybody, and I asked plenty of people who had a room big enough for the boardroom table. So in the end, I gave it to North East Derbyshire District Council, and it's still there to this day. It's actually in the leader's office. I saw it only a few weeks ago and sat down at it, and they've had a plaque put on it to say what it is, and it's got a glass top, so it's really good, and I'm pleased we saved it.
That's fantastic, yeah, because as you say, things can be lost. It could easily have been sold or scrapped, and we have had stories from people who have items of memorabilia from Saltergate, so it's great that those have been preserved for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, something else which was important and I made sure got saved as well was the plaque that was behind the Kop. There was also a plaque on the wall as you went into the car park, and the plaque, I think, from the back of the Kop was that the fans had raised money in the 60s to build the roof on the Kop. And a turnstile, of course, which have all gone into the memorial garden at the Pro Act, and that was always the plan. We were always keen to have a memorial garden down there, and they're still there for this day. So if any fans go down to when we do get playing football again, go down to the match, or even just call down, they can walk around there and see a few artifacts from Saltergate. Another thing that sticks in my mind towards the end, and we've got at the trust again, is that when we were clearing out and leaving, we found the plans for the stand from the 1930s, which, of course, were built by a very famous stadium architect of his day. It was Archibald Leach, who built a stand at Highbury, Glasgow Rangers, Everton, amongst others. And again, we have got them. If anybody's interested and wants to call down at the Community Trust or make an appointment, we can always happily show them the plans.